Leadership is a responsibility, not a position. Welcome to Leading from the Front with Dr. Gary McGrath, where experienced leaders share their own brand of leadership to help you develop and improve your own leadership capabilities. And now, here's your host, Dr. Gary.
I am Dr. Gary, making good bosses into great leaders with compassionate accountability. Welcome again to Leading from the Front, where leadership is a responsibility, not a position. Our guest today is the President and CEO of Etech Global Services, and he is a 36-year veteran of the call center industry. He's also co-authored 3 books with Jim Ayub, who also works at Etech. And he started this organization in 2003 and has been instrumental in growing Etech Global Services to over 3,000 people globally. Welcome, Mr. Matt Rocco. How are you doing today?
All right, Dr. Gary, thank you so much for having me today in the middle of this unusual time, unprecedented time.
Unprecedented, in fact. And the reason you're on today is because I had the opportunity last week to read your blog to all of your employees that talked about, as leaders, what they need to do to stand up and really be heard and help those around them be heard in these challenging times. And I'd like to talk to you about the 5 topics that you covered in that blog, starting with lead with facts, not fear. What message are you trying to get across to people with lead with facts, not fear?
Well, first of all, this blog, it was actually a communication to our employees. A couple times a week, I'll send out an email to all 3,000 employees on various topics, status of the company, and so forth. So when I wrote this, the COVID-19 virus was just starting to spread in the United States. There was certainly a lot of uncertainty about what was going to happen, how quickly it was going to spread, and what the impact was going to be. At that time, though, we were monitoring it closely. We were monitoring a lot of what was being communicated, not only through the media, but through the CDC and other reliable sources. So I knew I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I knew that our world was going to be rocked very shortly. And I wanted to get ahead of it. I wanted us as a company and certainly our leadership team to get ahead of it. And part of that is understanding the facts and not being fearful. So, what I wanted to communicate with the leaders is that we had an obligation because, it is a privilege to be able to lead people. And people look to us as leaders, as experts in a lot of areas, some areas that we're probably not even qualified to be experts in, but yet as a leader, we have the unique ability to influence people and help them through all kinds of things in life, right? And certainly COVID-19 and the fallout is a moment in life that we'll forever remember, unprecedented. So what my message was in number 1, lead with facts, not fear, is that I wanted to encourage them to stay informed and to not get caught up in fear, not get caught up in media, because you can watch the news stations and you can watch, the conservative channels and you can get one sense of what's going on, and you switch over to the more liberal channels and you get a whole nother sense of what's going on. So I wanted to point them towards more reliable sources of information and to stay informed and then communicate clearly with candor and most importantly with care to their people. That's what I felt we all needed at this time, myself included, and I wanted our leaders to embrace that. And the only way they were going to be able to do that is to be armed with the facts and certainly to take it upon themselves to be armed with those facts, but also as a company, Veronica Ellison Chimney, who is our Senior Vice President of Human Resources, she has done a phenomenal job, her and her team, of staying abreast of the facts and keeping our leaders informed. So lead with facts, not fear, was number 1.
Yeah, so when we think about that as leaders, people need to remember that fear, being scared in these emotional times is going to happen. And
Yes.
courage is being able to face that fear and still move forward. And I think that when you talk about leading with facts, I always ask my leadership teams, or I'll sometimes even ask my brother when we talk about some things, really, what's that based on?
Yeah.
If it's based on the internet or based on one of the news channels, sometimes we need to ask the question, what else is out there that can help us make better decisions? So leading with facts is an important thing to check our facts, right?
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. And a good friend of mine is Dr. Kevin Chapman. He's a sports psychologist and anxiety specialist. He deals with a lot of professional athletes, but he has his practices in Louisville, Kentucky. But he was just telling me the other day exactly what you said, Dr. Gary, is that people are jumping to all kinds of conclusions. And he said, hey, one of the first questions you ask is, well, what is your basis? Why do you feel that way? What's your basis for that? Where did that come from? And then you get them talking. And anyway, it's a very good point.
Yeah, we often find that those fears and challenges, worries, and all those things are just between our ears. So we have to, where did it come from? My head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the second thing. Let's surface and dispel rumors. How do you surface rumors? How do you even find out about them sometimes at your level?
Yeah. Well, that's a tough one. I know. We as humans, if we perceive there to be a gap, we're going to fill it.
Yes. And
as a company, it was very important when I got together with our executive team to say, look, we need to over communicate during this time, because if we don't, my fear is that our team members are going to fill those gaps of silence in, and we cannot let that happen. If we don't, ungrounded rumors will become facts, and that will be damaging to our people, or will be damaging to our work culture, and it would be damaging to our business and our customers. So it's not so much that I heard rumors. I just knew they would come if we weren't ahead of it in terms of how we were communicating. Yeah. And this is before, we transitioned 90% of our workforce from working, on site in one of our 9 contact centers to be equipped to work from home in a very short period of time. When I wrote this blog, it was the day before we actually moved our first team to work from home. So my concern was that when our team members saw other programs being moved, and the priority and why they were being moved and how were they being moved, and you can imagine there's so many variables that went into that. It's not just like, okay, hey, tomorrow you're going to report from home. We've got to make sure that the security and IT protocols are in place. They have the proper internet bandwidth. They have the proper equipment to work on. Most of the people, we had to get them issue them either a desktop or laptop to take home, and then give them VPN access. I mean, the list of things goes on and on and on. So, we talked before we actually got on about, what my world's been like the last couple of weeks, and it's been moving 3,000 people to work from home. And a lot of it has to start with our customers. Not to this day, we still have a couple clients who are not comfortable managing their programs in a work from home environment because of this sensitivity of the information that is being exchanged. And so, so we have a couple centers where we have, a handful of people coming in every day, but we've been able to physically distance them. We've been on overdrive in terms of sanitizing and disinfecting the center and all the touch areas. We're not allowing anybody into the building other than the team members that have to be there. We've equipped everybody with hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes. But anyway, so we knew the rumors were going to come, and I wanted to make sure that all of our leaders were equipped, that they could dispel, address unfounded and ungrounded rumors with facts, and limit the amount of concern, anxiety, damage that can be done by rumors. We've all seen how the negative influence that rumors can have.
And when you have this much disruption in your workforce, then I see two challenges going on. Number one is the speed of the work that's going on with all the changes can also increase the speed of the rumors that start, because people start making a lot of assumptions, right? Absolutely. But the second part is the physical separation between the supervisors and the workers, or the supervisors and the managers, and that physical separation, not seeing people minute by minute, day by day in a routine situation, can create a breakdown of communication.
Absolutely.
And therefore more rumors started created. So it's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. Yeah, it's a challenge. So, which really takes us to the next thing, right? Don't forget the human connection. That fits right into how are you keeping and maintaining some of that human connection with your workforce, with your managers, with your directors, all up and down the organization? How are you doing that?
So you're exactly right. The second point flows right into the third. A way to dispel the rumors is to have that constant communication, and in this case, that human connection. We live in an age where technology really enables us to be able to stay connected. Even though we're physically separated and distanced, we can very much stay connected. And a lot of that is, we did a lot of things. Number one is we prepare our leaders to manage a remote work team. We put them through training modules, and we gave them a playbook. How do you manage? You're used to managing a staff of 15 that was within a 10-foot circumference of you. Now all of a sudden they're all over the place. So how do you do that? What's the right way to do it? So we had modules created. We partnered with some of our technology partners and created modules that we could introduce to our leadership team. We rely heavily on some of the technologies out there like Zoom and Microsoft Teams, where you can do video and audio at the same time. I can tell you from my team is, we're all over the place. I'm here in Florida. We have some of my other team members are in East Texas. Jim Ayoub's out in West Texas. And we've been spending more time communicating through Zoom and actually seeing each other than we've ever done. And so it's really been an opportunity for us to be engaged with each other in a way. A lot of things are going on, and not just at work, but in the world, that it's really forcing us to reevaluate a lot of the things that we do as individuals. But to answer your question, the driver behind this is that we didn't want to, in our rush to create safe and work environments for all of our employees, whether they were in the Etech call center or at home, we didn't want to unintentionally foster employee loneliness, a loss of spirit, a loss of sprayer to team, and erosion of the company culture. So we had to make sure that those frontline leaders were equipped with everything they needed, the tools and the technology and the processes to continue to communicate regularly with their team members, and to do so on a regular and consistent basis by any means possible. And that's really what we've done. And, there's always room for improvement, but I'm just so proud of the Etech team and our leadership team and what they've been able to accomplish. Some of the key performance indicators that we look at in terms of performance have been, one of the things we look at is, it's kind of funny, schedule adherence. And we measure that because, that's important. Do our people come to work are they adhering to their schedule? Well, our schedule adherence results have been off the chart since people have been working out of their house. Go figure, because they're showing up for work, and they're there when they need to be.
Where else are they going to go, right?
Yeah, that's right. So actually, anyways, it's been good.
They can't sit there and say, well, the traffic was bad.
Yeah. So,
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So maintaining that human connection through video and stuff, obviously that's a help. We find out that in a lot of situations, we're doing more of that. So that takes us really to the next thing, which is focus on self-care, taking care of ourselves. I don't know about you, but I've found in the last few weeks with all these video calls and everything, I have to remind myself to get up away from my desk, walk away and get some exercise, because otherwise I'll sit here for hours
Yeah.
and don't realize it. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, Doctor, you're not alone. And that's happening. And, there's a lot of resources now that are available through either social media or websites about, how to cope with the fallout of COVID-19. And a lot of it's, people are in the first time ever. A lot of people are in a situation when they're working from home. And to your point is, you can get caught into where you roll out of bed, you grab your coffee, you roll into wherever you're working in your house, and next thing you know, you look up and it's 10 hours later.
Yeah.
And it's not healthy, and it's not productive, and it's really, there's some things that we need to be doing. And I did a little. I don't know if Jim shared it with you. I did a little video blog about tips for working out of your house. And
It wasn't a yoga video, was it, Matt?
no. It was like, look, you got to have your routine, just like if you're going to the office. Get up. For me, I haven't changed anything. When I get up, I spend some time reading. I spend some time in the Bible. I do my morning prayers. I get up. I shower. I shave. I go get my coffee, and I have my protein shake. And then I commute to work. Well, my commute now is, 20 feet from my kitchen into my office, but I dress for success. A lot of people roll out of bed. And they, I read an article the other day. The guy said, I have, at nighttime, I change from my afternoon pajamas into my evening pajamas, and he said, I get to take the trash out today. I'm so excited. I got to figure out what I'm going to wear to take the trash.
What am I going to wear? I got to put my jeans on. Yeah. I do that. I have my Stateria shirt on, which is my uniform with my jeans. And, I make sure I come to work. It's work day. So part of that, I think, in the self-care that you're talking about is maintaining some level of a routine so you feel a little bit more comfort in this disruption, right?
Yeah. And it's important the focus on the self-care. Not only is it going to help you during this time, really, and what I'm hearing now, it was one of these things where a couple weeks ago people were like, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm a dog at home. All I do is go around the house looking for something to eat."
Right.
And
yes.
Yeah. And now people are like, you know what? This has been an opportunity to me to really evaluate how I take care of myself, my mind, body, and spirit. And what am I doing? And am I eating better? Am I taking every couple hours? Am I getting up? Just do a lap around the house. Go outside, get the sun, do 10 jumping jack. I got more people that I speak to are doing breathing exercises, trying to be mindful and on their way to meditating. Sometimes when you talk to people about meditation, they go, "Oh, that's really kind of strange. I don't do that." But it really is just breathing and being very conscious and in the moment with how you're breathing. Brisk walks around the office, clear boundaries around. Look, if you're going to have a stop time, that you stick to it. And you go then and enjoy whatever it is. If you're at home with others, you go and enjoy them and spend quality time. If you're by yourself, you engage in something outside of work. Find things to be grateful for and stay connected. I've spoken to more people in the last 3 weeks. I'm taking the opportunity to reach out to people I haven't spoken to in a long time. It's one thing to stay connected to people through social media, Facebook and Instagram, but actually pick up the phone and talk to people. I think it's almost like a lost art. We don't talk. We text or we
text, we email.
Yeah. So these are things. That self-care is a huge topic because it's not just am I eating right or am I working out? It's all these things that go into a more mindful living. And studies show that if we live, the better we live, it will boost our immune system and will allow us the antidotes to fight off viruses such as COVID-19. So if we are exposed to it, our immune system is better served, better equipped to handle it.
Yeah. So in our balance model that we have in my 7 steps of intentional leadership under purpose, it's called balance. And then that balance of self-care, it's spiritual, physical, intellectual, emotional, and social.
Yep.
And that the letter spells spies. How do I spy on myself? How do I check myself? Spiritual, physical, intellectual, emotional, and social. And making sure we're doing all of those things. Like you said, you're reading the Bible, you're reading. That's the intellectual part. The emotional and the physical part. Get up, walk around. And I've told people, watch some videos on comedy, laugh, find something you can have some fun with. And then making the phone calls with other people, make that social connection if you don't have somebody in the house, which can be hard for some people. So it's all great. So, and I like the last one. The last bullet is really important because we get into all this disruption and we get so focused on the day-to-day, that just getting through the day, getting through the week, that the next part is a little bit of hope. Make plans for recovery. Yeah. So what for you, not just for your company, but for people that are listening, for all the individual things too, what are the kinds of things that you consider when you think about making plans for recovery?
There's no doubt we got to remind ourselves that this crisis will end. We will get through it. There's so many, super intelligent scientists and doctors that are addressing this, and they'll find the solution, whatever that may be. And we also have the brightest economic minds in the world that are on top of this, and so we're going to recover. This country will recover. The world will recover, but the United States of America, we will recover. Where our history shows time and time again when we come through a crisis that we're going to get through it and we're going to recover. And chances are, if we choose, we're going to recover stronger than we were going into this.
Yeah.
So that's something that you have to be intentional about. And what I've been trying to encourage my family and the Etech family is that, during this time, you can find opportunities to examine yourself, to examine the company, to examine things that we're doing, and you can seek out those things that you uncover during this crisis that we can change and that we can improve, and that we can continue to, instead of getting wrapped up in everything that's going on and all the negativity around the fallout, is can we find real learnings that we can uncover during this crisis? It's not gonna happen if we're not intentional in seeking those out and spending some time to improve ourselves and those around us. And so we are going to recover. And I'm reminding the Etech family when I send out my regular communications of this last point. We're going to get through this, and we're going to get through this stronger as a company, and then hopefully them stronger as individuals. We can't control COVID-19. We can't control the fallout of it. We can absolutely control how we respond to everything that's going on around us. We own that 100%. We own that. So I encourage my family, myself, my family, and the people that I lead, I'm encouraging them to embrace the fact that we are going to get through this. And how you get through it and how you come out on the other side, you determine that right now in the choices that you're making.
Yeah. So when we as leaders, we have to give those around us that positive energy that gives them hope, right? That gives them hope that we will recover, just like what you're saying, giving them that message. And it reminds me of Admiral Stockdale when he talked about his many years being a prisoner of war in the Hanoi Hilton in Vietnam. And he said, what kept you going? And he said it was his faith that he would be with his family someday. And we have to have faith. We have to have faith in each other. We have to have faith in our country, and we have to have faith in something bigger than us. Whatever your spiritual, religious, or feelings are about that, is to really have faith in something that's bigger than us. And if we have that, good things will happen.
Yeah.
And just pay attention. If you pay attention and look around you. You'll see great things will come out of it for all of us. So,
I shared with the team that, and I didn't know this until I read this recently, that in 1665, Isaac Newton was forced to work from home when the University of Cambridge was closed due to the bubonic plague. And, he used this time as a time to really think and to learn and to explore. And it was during this time that he began to develop his theories around calculus, optics, and gravity. And I just, so there was a situation many years ago where they were encountering something very similar to what we're going through. Now, they didn't have technology and media to add the extra anxiety that causes, but Isaac Newton took that opportunity to plan to recover and what that was going to look like. And again, it just reinforces that to what you said, so it's good stuff.
Take the opportunity. I find myself reading a little bit more, reflecting, getting back into my meditation practice, a lot of good things, and spending a lot of time with my wife in our new home and our dog. I mean, I tell you what, you want to put a smile on your face? Have a 12-month-old yellow lab. I'm telling you, he will bring a smile to your face. He's been on many of my podcasts and my webinars. So he's becoming a star. So Matt, I want to thank you for your comments, your insight, your leadership, and for these 4 or 5 very important points that you have on leading with facts, surface and dispel rumors. Don't forget about human connection. Take care of yourself and make plans for recovery. And you have any final comments, Matt, for your Etech employees, leaders, and other people that are going to be listening to this? Any final comments?
For the Etech family, and they know this, that they are in my daily thoughts and prayers, them and their families and their loved ones during this time. And I will continue nonstop on that, and to others as well. I mean, there's not a day goes by that I'm not lifting up our leaders, President Trump, Dr. Fauci, and the whole crew, and Vice President Pence, as well as the global leaders. This is a time where one of the things we can do is lift up our leaders that are making incredibly complicated and unprecedented decisions, that we can cover them up in our thoughts and our prayers.
That's a great message. And for all of us, as they've heard me talk about IGYB, I've got your back. Yeah. And if there's anything I can do to help you, please reach out, let me know. And I really, really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Gary. My pleasure.
I'm Dr. Gary, making good bosses into great leaders with compassionate accountability. And this is Leading from the Front. Thank you.
Thanks for being with us on Leading from the Front with Dr. Gary McGrath. Remember to subscribe to this podcast on Apple or wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about the work Dr. Gary is doing, visit statarius.com, statarius.com. Music for Leading from the Front is provided by Peter Katz. For more of his music, visit peterkatz.com.